Hey guys, today we're taking a look at my Battleguard deck. Now, this deck I had a bit of issue with. Been messing around with it a lot. It's very tough to build around because there's really not great support for it. It's very difficult to search out the cards and get what you need and make it work. So I'm trying a lot of experimental things. This is really an experimental deck. I hope you guys will like it anyway, even though I'm just kind of throwing stuff together. But I'll kind of talk about what I'm trying to do with the deck and how it's supposed to work. Now, there's not really much to Battle Guards. They're really just these warrior monsters that get attack bonuses, and then they have this new boss monster that has a really cool effect, but requires a lot of resources to really abuse it. So right away we're running two Battleguard King. If we can get out his effect, we can do big damage on our opponent, but it's a little bit hard. We're running two DD Warrior Lady, a little bit of warrior support that has decent mixed stats and also a really good effect. I really like her effect, so I like having her. We have two Earth Armor Ninja. Similarly to my UA deck, we want a special summon level 5 warrior. Fits in well with the deck type. Three Lava Battle Guard, three Swamp Battle Guard. They get attack bonuses from each other. Not really much to say there. If we can swarm with them, we'll have a little bit of power on the field, but it's still not, amazing, which is another issue with this deck type. Two Photon Thresher, another warrior we can easily special summon out. Very nice to have these special summons out. We get, access to easy tribute summons and other things we're trying to do. And then we have two Valkyrian Knight. I really love this card for a deck that uses level 5 warriors. Great stats, great effects, just really effective in this deck type. And then we're supporting it with Pendulums because I really had trouble trying to get these cards out. So we're supporting it with just, Pendulum Dragon, the Stargazer Magician, Timegazer Magician. Really nice with Stargazer that he's level 5, so if we can get him out, other ways we can use him on the field and things like that, and XYZ and do some other stuff there. So supporting with Pendulum's kind of a weird kind of way to do this, but I'm, messing around with it and I find that it can be a little more effective in order to get out some of the cards we need. And then, we can use those special summons to tribute summon to get out Battleguard King. If we get a higher level, Pendulum at some point, maybe like a level 9 scale warrior or something, that could be really powerful for a deck like this. And then we're running two Feast of the Wild. This card was made for the Battle Guards. You can see them on the cover art. Just a very strong card that lets you easily XYZ summon or, use this to get out your tribute monster, which is very powerful. Two Magnum Shield. Magnum Shield is really good with this deck type. You'll notice Swamp Battle Guard and Lava Battle Guard both have balanced stats. DD Warrior Lady does, Earth Armor Ninja kinda, Valkyrian Knight kinda. So all these cards kind of, benefit from that. So I find that could be really powerful. Two MST to deal with back row, one Raigeki, two Reinforcement of the Army just searching out some of the lower level warriors, one Soul Charge, one A Forces to give us some additional bonus. Again, we're trying to swarm with this deck, so A Forces can be kind of nice and can bump up our attacks to a little more reasonable level. We're also running three Monarchs Stormforth. Might be a little unnecessary. I really don't like the fact that we can't extra deck summon when we use this, but this will get our monsters out a lot more easily in a deck that relies so heavily on level 5, so I do like the Monarch Stormforth for a deck like this. And because I wanted so much spell support in this deck in order to special summon, I decided to use Royal Decree, just a different way to go in this deck, but again, we using a lot of spells in order to support what we need to do with these kind of weaker monsters that require a lot of resources anyway. So running through Royal Decree in this deck to deal with traps. And I find that back row is, again, a big issue that this deck needs to try to deal with because it's bringing out, these stronger monsters that, can be resource intensive. For the extra deck, we're going to have a lot of interesting variety going on here. A lot of level 5 variety. One Adreus, one of my favorites. Blade Armor Ninja, again a warrior, very effective with this deck. Felgrand, the one level 8, just in case, again a warrior, which is kind of nice with this deck. Exciton Knight, Gagaga, Excalibur, again a warrior with balanced stats, which is nice. Lavalval Chain, going to be helpful with some of the stuff you want to do with this deck. Silent Honor, Big Eye, just in case with Pendulum Dragon, but usually not a thing to think about too much. And then we have number 12, definitely not, my favorite level 5, but it can be effective, in doing some of the things you want to do. And, again, a warrior, which helps you out. Volcasaurus, Shark Fortress, Tiras, Zenmaioh, and one Zubaba General, again, just a warrior that can be helpful because you might have something like Battleguard King in your hand, so you can use this, and Zubaba can get up to something like 5,000 attack, in addition to some of the other boosting you're trying to do. So now for the side deck, if you haven't seen the side deck in my videos, in the side deck I kind of just like to talk about recommended cards, other ideas for the deck, other things I was thinking about but decided to not put in the deck, just random stuff. Not really a side deck for matches. I don't really build my side deck for matches. Again, these are just ideas I want you guys to think about maybe when you're building your own Battleguard deck. There's a ton of other interesting warrior support. Marauding Captain is kind of interesting, but not really the best thing for this deck type. Overlay Booster, we have a lot of cards that could get over to 2,000, so we can use Overlay Booster, which is a level 5 warrior again. Immortal Bushi is kind of nice to get that special summon power. It's like a Treeborn Frog for this deck, but then you can't use Pendulums and you can't really use your XYZs very much. It's kind of a choice if you want to do that. Treeborn Frog, by the way, you could actually use in this deck, depending on what back row we're using. We're not using too much in my deck, MST, Royal Decree, things like that. So it's really up to you. It depends on what you're trying to run with this deck. Turret Warrior is another nice one that can give you some special summon power to gain some additional attack and do some, quick plays there. Mausoleum with this deck can be kind of useful, but I feel like it's kind of unnecessary. Scapegoat in this deck combos with DNA Surgery. If you can make them all warriors, then Battleguard King, you could do like an OTK there. So that's another strategy you can try to go with. Solidarity, if you are running warriors, if you're doing Immortal Bushi and things like that, Solidarity would be pretty nice for this deck to get your warriors to more of a decent level. The Battle Guards might start to get to a decent attack level. Star Blast, probably a better thing over Mausoleum because of the fact that we don't need to pay so many life points because most of these guys are level 5, so Star Blast can be handy for that kind of thing. Warrior Returning Alive, you can recycle all the warriors. That can be pretty nice for this deck. The two Battleguard Traps I actually really like, and I would be running them if I wasn't running Royal Decree. Battleguard Howling is pretty powerful, and I find that Battleguard Rage is very useful against certain deck types. So it's up to you if you want to run them, but I would say you should consider it if you're not going with Royal Decree. Like I was saying, DNA Surgery combos with certain things you want to do with Battleguard King, which is nice. There's a bunch of other XYZs I didn't run in the deck. Castell's a very powerful one. I just didn't have as much room for like level 4s, but there's a few you can run, and there are some other level 5s. You want to consider maybe something like this, King of Heavy Industry, because of Feast, that you can get out, 3 level 5s without too much trouble if you have the right, spell or pendulum combination, things like that. So I really like King of Heavy Industry if you can get out 3 level 5s, but there are a few other ones, and I believe there's some warrior ones as well, so you guys can take a look at that if you're considering putting a card like this in your deck. So that's my Battleguard deck, kind of like my UA deck, focused on level 4 and 5 warriors, do some special summoning, getting supported by a lot of different things that help you special summon between Pendulums and Feast and Monarchs Stormforth and just a bunch of other stuff going on. So I'm trying to support it very heavily to get these monsters out because it's very difficult. But yeah, I just, tried to build around it and make it work, and make it as strong as possible, even though it's definitely going to require some more support to be a stronger deck. But if you guys do have your own Battleguard decks, I'd definitely be surprised. But if you do, let me know in the comments. Give me some suggestions. Maybe there's something I didn't think about. I'd really love to hear that so I can keep working on this deck. Because as I said, it's very experimental. I'm still kind of messing around with what I'm trying to do there. So let me know down below. But that's about it for me. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later.